Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. Oh, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Oh, yes. Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. Oh, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Oh, yes.
Hi everyone, what's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing on this late Saturday night for you guys? It's 6 here, but I'm not sure what time it is down there. Let me know if you can hear me, which I'm sure you can. I don't have to keep doing sound check all the time. Don't worry, I'm not going to show my face today. I don't feel like dealing with the quality of the camera. So we are just going to do voice only. Yes, we are. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get started here. All Alrighty. We are going to start this live show off a little bit different than we normally do. I spent most of the day creating a live show. I'm not sure why I did that, but we're gonna have a successful live show. It's gonna be successful. It's gonna go viral. Let's go ahead and manifest that. And don't forget to share. Okay, make sure you guys share. Okay. I'm not going to be showing it on my other social media feeds, primarily because when I do that, it never shows up anyway, which is freaking annoying. You know what I'm saying? I'm up here showing it to, all of these feeds and whatnot, and it's not even showing up anyway. So whatever. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there. Okay, now starting off this show. Oops. Okay, starting off this show is the same old, same old. Just want to welcome my truth seekers. Welcome to the Truth Show. I am Keisha. I will be your host. I am the host of the Truth Show and the Truth Show Live, the Truth Show Deluxe, the Truth Show Blog, the Truth Show Supreme. It's a lot of crap out there. Okay. Yeah, and I do have podcasts that I haven't really recorded in quite some time. Primarily because of monetary gain. I'm not sure. You know what? Long story. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started here. Okay. First, we'll talk about Trump's decline in delusion, how they are keeping us from moving forward, from being great, enjoying the beauty of diversity. They won't be able to get what they want anymore. And that's what pretty much scares them, because you have some part of the political party who's desperately trying to hold on to some kind of seniority, some kind of power, and they're very confused. They don't know what they want to do. They're seriously like, okay, we want this power. We want all of this, all this seniority. What is happening? So that's what we're currently dealing with at the current moment when it comes to the federal government and our politicians. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. We also discussed royal family drama and celebrity rumors. I got some gossip for you. And then that will pretty much feed your curiosity, because that's what you guys primarily like listening to is celeb gossip. And then, of course, I'll get into some deep talk about some brain food, because I like talking about brain food. So I teach you guys some things about this new age and how is it affecting a lot of people that you know, and how it's going to affect you. You're all welcome to come up and ask questions. I will be putting a link out there. And with that said, here are your warnings. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting, or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy. All right, fantastic. Okay. Let's start this off with, of course, some politics. Now, here is the pulse of politics. And what I mean by pulse of politics, it's apparently the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed Texas to use apparently the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed Texas to use and contested redistricting map. Congress has forced the release of the Epstein Files, and the global politics are marked by EU isolation, climate negotiations faltering, and shifting power struggles in Asia. Yeah, we're still dealing with that whole little conflict in Asia, and that's our boys' fault that we're dealing with that. I mean, this has never been an issue with former presidents and other, political people, but this is your boy acting like, he's got to be a guy that cause conflict with all our leaders and our allies and stuff. This is your boy. This is your naive, silly boy. I'm going to go ahead and put that on out there. Okay. Now, Texas redistricting. So, Texas redistricting map. Justice. Yeah, I mean, you guys will need to pay attention, because this is some serious business. Okay. Okay. So it seemed like Justice Samuel Alito, this is Samuel Alito, issued a stay permitting Texas to use its new redistricting map, despite claims it racially gerrymandered districts. Now, gerrymandering means that they're manipulating the boundaries of an electoral constituency. So, as the favor one and party of class. So this means they're just being biased and somewhat prejudiced. Just to blatantly say it. Now, this could give Republicans up to 5 new congressional seats in 2026, which means they're already trying to manipulate the upcoming election, where we elect new Congress members, etc. They're already trying to manipulate that, which is against the law, by the way. But, in blatant terms, they're trying to control the federal government with their party and people so they could go back almost 50 to 100 years. These people have to go because we are trying to move. This is why we have not progressed forward. We could be having flying cars by now. The air could be the new traffic control. We could have been so free energy. Are you freaking kidding me? We could have been so advanced right now. But because of political biasness and races and jealousy have kept us from striving forward. I was just looking at the other day. It was some 40s and 50s and I believe early 60s videos where they had so many gadgets and so many helpful techniques for the refrigerators and the kitchen. Those inventions declined and pretty much got disintegrated during the civil rights because the people who invented them were Black people, but they killed them. They destroyed them and they weren't able to copy them anymore because they killed the inventors, which is why we don't have those fancy refrigerators and those fancy counters and those fancy cabinets. I look at those inventions, I'm like, this is some cool shit. I would love to have this in my refrigerator. But they killed the inventors, they killed the creators, they killed them, they destroyed them. And let's get to the farming too. Our farming was so organic, so healthy, because 70% of the farming was literally owned by Black people. But then the civil rights came along. They started kind of, manipulating the law and forcefully and not lawfully took the land predominantly from the farmers. And because most of them didn't have the genetic ancestral knowledge to preserve food or any of the farming techniques, they resorted to science and decided to create false, mechanisms to preserve food, which is slowly killing us. So that is what's going on with our food climate and our progress here. We see other countries progressing and we're holding back because we have old farts like this trying to keep us back 50 to 100 years. He's not going to be alive to even enjoy the necessities of his whatever big, beautiful fucking bill. He'd be dead probably before the end of the year. So I don't know why he's trying to do this. I'm going off the deep end. Sorry about that. I had a moment. All right, move right along here. So the Epstein Files release. Congress passed a bill requiring the Department of Justice to release documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the legislation now awaits President Trump's sign-off, though he has signaled he will approve it. And I made a video on why he will approve it. He's not approving it because he, feel that he's innocent. He's approving it because it'll make him look even more guilty if he don't approve it. It's like a chess move technique. I even made a quick 20-30 second video and put it on my feed, my shorts feeds. So please check that out. I'm sure most of you have, and it insults me. I don't really care, but it's true. But just to reiterate, he did in fact sign for the release of the Epstein Files, but don't start thinking again his sick behind is innocent. I'm going to say it again because he isn't. And with that said, take a look at these clips.
We are anonymous. We do not serve power. We do not worship money. We do not bend the knee for men who believe their wealth can buy silence. We stand with truth with victims and with the people who refuse to be blinded by fear or noise. And tonight we pull the mask off Donald Trump's latest unhinged announcement about Jeffrey Epstein, an announcement that exposes not leadership, but panic. Deep, unmistakable panic. Donald Trump just posted something so frantic, so over the top, so recklessly desperate on Truth Social that even his own allies whisper that he is losing control of the narrative he thought he owned. He is not reacting like an innocent man. He is reacting like someone who knows the walls are closing in, and the boomerang he threw years ago is coming back to hit him straight in the face. Trump's post opens with his usual victim routine, claiming Democrats are using what he calls the Epstein hoax to distract from their so-called failures. Then he declares that he will unleash Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, and what he dramatically calls our patriots at the FBI on Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan, and a long list of others. This is not a policy announcement. It is a tantrum strapped to a megaphone. And what makes it more pathetic is that Trump now depends on the same FBI he once attacked as corrupt, and the same DOJ he called deep state enemies. Suddenly they are great patriots because he needs them as political weapons. He needs them to chase ghosts so the spotlight moves away from him, and he is terrified it won't. We Anonymous do not care about political parties. If any Democrat or any Republican or any billionaire or royal participated in Epstein's crimes, they should be exposed and prosecuted. Victims deserve nothing less. But Trump's meltdown reveals his favorite tactic projection. Whatever he is guilty of, he accuses others of doing. This is the same man who demanded Hillary Clinton be prosecuted for mishandling classified emails, then stole classified documents from the White House and hid them at Mar-a-Lago. The same man who screamed that elections were rigged, then pressured officials, launched fake elector plots, and tried to overturn an election he lost. The same man who called the Clinton Foundation corrupt while his own businesses took in money from foreign governments while he was in office. The same man who let chance of lock her up, but claimed every investigation into himself was a witch hunt. With Trump, the pattern is simple. The louder he points, the more he's hiding. So when he calls the Epstein scandal a hoax, he's not making a point. He's revealing panic. And the real question becomes, what part does he think is a hoax? The 20,000 pages of newly released documents, the emails from 2011 where Epstein wrote that Trump knew the girls, the photos of Trump smiling with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago, the flight logs, the social ties, the repeated interactions, the fact that Trump said in 2002 that Epstein was a terrific guy who likes beautiful women as much as I do, many on the younger side. These are not Democratic inventions. These are Trump's own words, Trump's own photos, Trump's own past. And when he used Epstein to attack Bill Clinton, it wasn't a hoax then. It only became a hoax when evidence began pointing back at him. Even international outlets like BBC, The Guardian, Deutsche Welle, and The Independent have documented Trump's ties to Epstein, from the parties at Mar-a-Lago to the private gatherings in New York to the elite circles they moved in. Trump was not a stranger to Epstein. He was part of the ecosystem. That's what frightens him. And the pressure is not coming from Democrats alone. Republicans are breaking ranks. Representative Thomas Massie led the charge to force a congressional... We are anonymous. We do not serve kings. We do not worship predators. We do not look away when the powerful bury their secrets under 20,000 emails and decades of silence. Tonight, we walk straight into the heart of a story Donald Trump and his inner circle hoped would never reach the public. A story drawn not from rumor, but from messages, correspondence, and digital footprints left behind in Jeffrey Epstein's trove of more than 20,000 emails obtained by the House Oversight Committee. These emails reveal a web of conversations, perceptions, complaints, insults, political strategizing, and descriptions that shed light on how Epstein and people around him viewed Donald Trump, interacted with him, and talked about him. Some of these emails have gone viral, but the majority remain largely unknown to the public. And when you read them, when you follow the threads one by one, the shape of the story becomes clearer, deeper, and far more troubling than anything in yesterday's headlines. You've already seen the email where Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell back in April 2011, referring to Trump as the dog that isn't barking, noting that a victim spent hours with Trump at Epstein's house and saying that Trump has never been mentioned by investigators. Maxwell replies that she has been thinking about it. That alone will dominate any news cycle. But it is only one tile in a mosaic of conversations that stretch from 2009 all the way through Trump's first term in office. I went through every single email, all 20,000. And as you follow the timestamps, read the names, and cross-reference the events, the image that emerges is of Jeffrey Epstein observing Trump, commenting on Trump, sometimes mocking him, sometimes advising people around him, sometimes describing interactions he claims to know about, and sometimes positioning himself as someone who understands the psychological vulnerabilities of the 45th president. One early email from 2015 shows Epstein writing to journalist Landon Thomas Jr., describing Trump walking almost straight into a glass door while focused on young women swimming in the pool. Epstein jokes about Trump leaving his nose print on the glass. It's a disturbing voyeuristic detail, but it sets a tone Epstein portraying Trump as fixated, careless, and impulsive. The sort of private anecdote people only share with someone they believe will understand exactly what they mean. Other messages escalate. Epstein writes to former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers saying he has met bad people in his life, but not as bad as Trump, adding that Trump has not one decent cell in his body, and calling him even grosser in person. These are Epstein's words recorded in private emails, not public statements. Whatever their motivation, they show the perception Epstein claimed to hold about Trump behind closed doors. Then there are the geopolitical messages, the ones that caught my attention immediately. In June 2018, just days before the Helsinki summit between Trump and Vladimir Putin, Epstein emails Torbjørn Jagland, former Prime Minister of Norway. Epstein writes that Putin should hear from Sergei Lavrov and that Lavrov can get insight on Trump from him. Jagland replies that he will meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest it. The tone of the exchange is casual, even friendly, with Jagland thanking Epstein for a lovely evening. Epstein replies that Trump must be seen to get something, describing Trump's psychological need for a win, or at least the appearance of one. Whether these messages reflect true influence or exaggerated self-importance, their content is undeniable. They show Epstein discussing Trump with high-level political figures, positioning himself as someone who studies Trump's ego and behavior, and portraying himself as a conduit of insight into how Trump operates. These emails exist. They have timestamps. They have senders and recipients, and reading them together paints a picture that Trump's inner circle never wanted public. But the emails go deeper still. There's Epstein conversing with individuals tied to modeling networks, including Jean LeBlanc, who later died under circumstances many observers noted as strangely parallel to Epstein's own. They talk about bringing a Burmese singer to the US, calling her very pretty, mentioning fresh promotional angles around Obama's visit to Myanmar. These exchanges sit uncomfortably in the context of what has long been reported about Epstein's social network. There's Epstein discussing messaging strategies with people who were connected to Trump's political world. Emails suggest he offered opinions on how lawyers should attack Christine Blasey Ford's memory during the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. The tone of these messages shows Epstein inserting himself into political conversations, pointing out vulnerabilities, suggesting rhetorical strategies, and evaluating how Trump's team might handle backlash. Then come the messages where Epstein describes Trump's personality and predictability. He tells Larry Summers that Trump is so dumb he will blame everyone around him, predicting chaos in the White House. He says Jared Kushner and Gary Cohn will be protected, but others will fall. Years later, insiders would confirm Trump's pattern of infighting, paranoia. Shifting behavior Epstein described in private long before those memoirs and interviews emerged. One of the most striking emails comes from a New York Times journalist tipping Epstein off about a former NYPD detective digging into Epstein and potentially Trump as well. The journalist mentions questions about why Epstein hired Ken Starr. It's a moment that raises questions about access, information flow, and who protected whom and why. Then another bombshell in November 2016, right after the election. Epstein emails to say he is in Trump Tower. Linda Stone asks if he's still in Paris. Epstein replies, "I'm in the Trump Tower." Trump has repeatedly insisted he hadn't spoken to Epstein in years, but this email suggests physical proximity far more recent than Trump has ever publicly acknowledged. Whether Epstein was exaggerating, visiting someone else, or telling a literal truth, the email exists, and that alone is enough to destabilize the carefully crafted narrative Trump has repeated for years. The messages between Epstein and Maxwell show a nuanced picture. Epstein notes that investigators have never mentioned Trump, despite a victim spending hours with him at Epstein's home. Maxwell acknowledges it. Again, this is the content of the email, not a legal determination, but it is part of the written record. More emails show Michael Wolff commenting on a victim at Mar-a-Lago, and Epstein claiming that Trump asked him to resign from Mar-a-Lago, even though Epstein says he was never a member. Epstein writes that Trump knew about the girls and asked his land to stop. Wolff speculates that Epstein could let Trump hang himself in public statements or support him later if it created a debt. It is a cynical transactional picture, describing a relationship built not on friendship but leverage. Then Epstein writes simply, "I know how dirty Donald is." That line echoes through the inbox like a drumbeat. There are emails referring to the notorious birthday book joke about selling Trump a fully depreciated woman. The newly released messages go further, with Epstein reportedly boasting that he gave Trump his 20-year-old girlfriend secondhand after 2 years. The words are dehumanizing, disturbing, and deeply reflective of the way Epstein talked about women. Whether true, exaggerated, or intended as shock humor, the line sits in Epstein's email archive, and Trump world cannot erase it. There are emails suggesting Epstein was near Trump in 2017, emails about Trump's deposition being scheduled for August 18, 2009, emails showing Epstein receiving information about Trump and Melania in 2019, emails showing Epstein's pilot tracking Trump's plane. Epstein positions himself repeatedly as someone observing Trump's movements, commenting on them, and sharing those comments with people in his circle. And then there is the recorded 2017 conversation, Epstein describing Trump's method for controlling his team by spreading conflicting stories, pitting advisors against each other, and ensuring no one trusts anyone else. Epstein talks about Trump telling Bannon one thing, Kellyanne another, Jamie Dimon another, and creating chaos on purpose. This matches what many former advisors later wrote in their memoirs, Trump thrives on infighting. Epstein's description matches their experiences almost too precisely. And then there's the real estate connection. Epstein references Trump purchasing the West Palm Beach property, Gossman lost in foreclosure a property Epstein wanted, and later selling it in 2008 to a Russian oligarch for $95 million, far above its valuation. Even back then, experts questioned the deal. Epstein's email suggests he saw it as suspicious. It connects yet another dot between Trump, Epstein's orbit, and Russian money. When you assemble everything, all 20,000 emails, all the overlapping conversations, all the names, all the timestamps, all the references, the picture becomes unavoidable. These emails do not represent a distant acquaintance. They reveal an ongoing pattern of commentary, observations, expectations, and connections between Epstein's world and Trump's world. It is not the picture Trump painted publicly. It is not the sanitized timeline he repeated in interviews. And it is absolutely not the version of events Trump's defenders want circulating today. Trump's inner circle is terrified not because of one email, but because of what the entire collection reveals. Epstein observed Trump up close for years. Epstein critiqued him, mocked him, tracked him, and sometimes advised people around him. Epstein portrayed himself as someone who understood Trump's weaknesses and tendencies. Epstein exchanged messages with journalists, politicians, lawyers, and global figures about Trump. The story is not one detail. It is the entire network. As you reach the end of the archive, the biggest question becomes obvious if these emails, the ones outside the sealed files, are already this explosive. What else is inside the unreleased material? We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not forgive. And tonight we surface what was never meant to be seen. If you believe truth should not be buried, share this message. Tap subscribe. Help amplify what powerful people would rather keep in the dark. Together, let's push this story into the light and keep going until every piece of the truth is uncovered.
There you go. Just thought I should give you an update on the severity of these files, but I don't want us to get discouraged, and I definitely don't want us to get I don't want us to get distracted, because I feel we're getting distracted from the point here, and I'll get into a little bit of that a little bit later. But because we need to talk about the voter data controversy. Now, it seems that in Oregon Secretary of State, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I want us to talk about the voter controversy. We need to talk about that because there was a rigged election, and he's trying to manipulate and rig the next election. He's been quite blunt on what he's doing. But before we get into that, I don't want us to, again, not get discouraged, okay? But I do want us to get into severity of these Epstein files. So here are more videos, because I'm going to seriously go in and keep talking about this, but I'm not going to get distracted from the real point here and trying to get him out of the White House and still talk about the fact that they rigged the election. I'm still not getting over that. But before we get into a little bit of that, here are more videos, okay?
Okay, you guys, these Epstein files are out of control. So we're going to break down everything we've seen thus far. Okay, first, let's start with Obama's former chief White House counsel, Kathy Rubiller, and a very eerie, very suspicious email with her and Epstein. Now, they're communicating back and forth in this email, but at the bottom of this email gets really weird. And I quote, she says, "Yes, I will be like the doctor at Lenox Hill, put that crazy in room 1, gunshot in surgery, and the cook, well, he can wait." You guys, remember Obama's chef who worked at the White House and who died at Obama's house? Could they be talking about him? Now, being that email was from 2014, saying the cook can wait, you mean like 9 years later wait, where he actually died in 2023? Yeah, that's suspicious. Gets even wilder though. So we have an email from 2018 with Jeffrey Epstein and his brother, Mark Epstein, in which Mark is asking, buckle up, he says, does Putin still have the pictures of Trump blowing Bubba, aka Bill Clinton?
I don't think it's Bill Clinton.
What? Okay, even if this is even remotely true, how relevant would this picture be that they found in Epstein's house of Bill Clinton in a blue dress, in which Monica Lewinsky was in a blue dress just like this when she blew him? This is giving way to the biggest blackmail ring of all time, but let's keep going. Now, if we weren't completely off the rails, this is going to take us there, because there's an email stating that he was into bioengineering and genetics, specifically black people. And I quote, "You might be able to make blacks smarter by changing the time for the motor layer development and changing the time for other layers." He states their brains are slower at learning high-level concepts, in which he's giving way to slavery being that muscle switch for slaves. We're faster, so we're stronger, jump higher than the white people were thinking all day, basically, and making them smarter under pressure over time. Now, not only he was into bioengineering and genetics, and he had his own office at Harvard called Jeffrey's office, but he had close ties to MIT, in which he had very close ties to this guy, Marvin Minsky, who was the co-founder of MIT's AI laboratories, and they call the father of AI. I mean, it really takes the guesswork out of why he was trafficking people besides blackmail. You wanted to experiment on people like a test lab rat. Now, this part totally makes sense, where the head morgue manager of Harvard pled guilty early this year for selling body parts online. Does anybody want to take a wild guess who he was working for? Epstein he was working for. And there's a whole lot more, so I'm going to do a part 2. Make sure you guys get into my Telegram. We're just getting started.
Miss you too, Nap. Miss you too. Now, before we play that little funny little video, here is a little bit more of who Bubba may be. People think Bubba is Donald Trump, but Bill Clinton. It's not Bill Clinton. I just want to point that out there. It's not Bill Clinton, okay? It's not. I know his nickname is Bubba. That'd be too obvious. And I believe Epstein's brother stated that it wasn't Bubba. Bill Clinton wasn't Bubba as well, okay? So that has been debunked.
Footnote number 31 in my government means to kill me. Roy Cohn was infamous for his unscrupulous tactics as a lawyer, and he was disbarred shortly before his death. A closeted homosexual, Cohn claimed until his final breath that he was dying of liver cancer.
My doctor was born on record. That's exactly what I did have.
No, they haven't. They say it's a life-threatening disease, but the words liver cancer are not in their affidavits at all.
If I didn't say this, this man here was nicknamed Bubba as well. He is a famous attorney who was rumored to be gay, and he died of AIDS. And Trump, well, let's just say he represented Trump, and it was rumored that he did a lot of things for this man, not just pay him the money. He paid him a lot of other stuff. This man did do drugs. They did have orgies, and he was definitely close with Trump. And yeah, and he fell out with Trump some time ago when he threw him a party and he just announced he had AIDS. So Trump got the birthday candles with the sparkly, so he won't blow out the candles, so none of his saliva got on the cake. So Trump was treating him very, very rude and uncouth. And that caused some rift between the two, but his nickname was also Bubba. Famous, but not so famous. Here's his little miniature bio.
Well, if you want to get him, just call up Dr. Safai or Dr. Dick or any of them, and you'll...
Dr. Sam Broder?
Sam Broder's fine.
We called them, and they said that without Roy Cohn's permission, they couldn't talk to us. But we were told by other sources that Roy Cohn's name was on the NIH computer for AIDS.
I think you can see me. I think you can see in the audience can. I ain't dying from nothing to start with, number one. Number two, you asked me categorically, and I tell you categorically, I do not have AIDS.
In truth, he died of complications from AIDS.
There you go. He did die of AIDS, but he was in complete denial and lying about it because, you know, people wasn't too sure of the education of AIDS. They thought it was easy to transact it and get infected by it, and that wasn't the case. So a lot of people are not like that now, but back then they were. Now here's a little funny video of Donald Trump and his little Jeffrey. Yes.
The complete history of Lil Donnie and Jeff, as much as we know so far. Part 1. The early years. The mid-'80s. Donnie and Jeff, two sad boys with creepy hobbies and no friends, meet one another and hit it off. Donnie even buys Mar-a-Lago, ending up only a few doors down from his soon-to-be bestest friend ever, Jeff. They spend the 80s bonding in New York and Miami. To hear Jeff's brother Mark tell it, cocaine, champagne, private jets, and the occasional shared girl are commonplace. They become almost inseparably close to one another. And again, from first-hand accounts from Mark, their relationship is super creepy and weirdly competitive, but also sexually charged. It's 1992, and the two regularly throw parties together and for one another. One in particular was quite vile, where Donnie hired a booker lying to him and telling him that it was a calendar girl shoot. When the girls arrived, the only guests were Jeff and Donnie. The booker took Donnie aside and told him that Jeff would target the underage models. Donnie was okay with this. These were their early years before their relationship became much, much, much darker. Continued in part 2.
I would not be looking at part 2. Part 1 was gruesome and torturing enough. Anyway, let's just move on from this sick little bio of Donald Trump in his disgusting ways. Man, if Epstein can call this man disgusting, he is freaking disgusting. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on out there. Epstein called him disgusting. Epstein called him very, yeah. Y'all heard the cockamamie video. Yes. Trump is a very, very disgusting, evil ass goddamn man. His mother even called him out and said if he ever become president, he will pretty much bankrupt the entire freaking country among everything else. He's a freaking idiot. But you know, you have idiots who vote for him and idiots who think he's going to be just great. You know what? Never mind. You already know how I feel. I don't have to keep expressing my freaking self. Now, getting into the voter data controversy, Oregon Secretary of State and the 9 others are pressing the DOJ and the DHS over how voter data is being used. Yes, they're stealing our information through voter data so they can make it scarce, you know, and frightening for people to vote. Yeah, they're already doing it because they can't rig the election because people are going to be looking for it. So they're trying to find some other tactics on trying to suppress voters so they can rig the 2026 election just like they rigged the 2025 election. And they will keep doing that shit because they know what's to be fucking people. Now, so over the voter data is being used, raising concerns about privacy and political manipulation. The Oregon voter data controversy centers on a clash between state officials and the Trump administration over demands for unredacted voter information, raising concerns about privacy, misuse, and federal overreach. Oh, yes. Now, who sparked the dispute? Let's go back. Now, who sparked the dispute? Apparently, the U.S. Department of Justice in July of 2025, the DOJ, yes, demanded Oregon hand over unredacted voter rolls, including names, addresses, driver's license numbers, and partial social security numbers. Now, Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed refused. Yeah, he refused, arguing. This Tobias person. Yeah. Anyway, he refused, arguing there was no legal basis for the request and warning that the administration might misuse the data. So he's like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? There is nothing. I mean, seriously. So here's what is going on here. Okay. Apparently, we said again, Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed refused, arguing there was no legal basis for the request and warning that the administration might misuse the data. So then the DOJ later sued Oregon in September of 2025, claiming the state violated federal laws like the National Voter Registration Act and Help America Vote Act by withholding data. So they're like, okay, you have two parties, and there's nothing wrong with the voter administration. There's nothing wrong with anything. And you have another party saying, yes, you guys are leaking data, y'all manipulating things, y'all trying to scare voters, y'all getting their information and scaring them and killing them and doing all kinds of catastrophic things. You guys are seriously committing so many laws. We have proof. You have another party, there is no proof. They're just making up shit. What are you talking about? There's no proof. So there is a battle between justice and criminal activity. So we have evil people versus good people, just to put it in layman terms here. So why Oregon and other states object? What Tobias Reed and the 9 other secretaries of state from states including Washington and California and Maine sent a joint letter in November 2025 to Attorney General Pam Bondi and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, demanding clarity. Like, okay, prove to us there is no voter manipulation. Then prove to us that you guys are not leaking voters' personal data. Prove to us. Please prove to us. We want to know. We want some clarity. We want some answers. So their concerns included contradictory statements from the DOJ and the DHS about whether the data was being shared. Now, reports that the DHS had entered voter data into the SAVE system, and they claim this damn voter data was not online. It's all not online. It's not on internet or Wi-Fi, but it's clearly online internet. People are able to go into the voter data and pretty much leak people's personal information. But they claim it is not online. I keep getting emails from the CEO of the Voters Act, and I might have to call this woman because I have some fucking concerns. Now, the voter data into safe system and federal database used to verify immigration status. And that's another thing that they're doing. They're trying to take the information from the voter data, which they cannot do, by the way. Yes. And they're giving it to ICE members and fake ICE members to seriously kidnap them. You know what they be doing. We see it all over TikTok. They're kidnapping these little immigrants. And most of them are not immigrants. They were born and raised here. Let me just put a history lesson here. The Hispanic community was here. They are indigenous to this country right along with us. So they need to stop kicking them out of fucking country. They was indigenous too. But it's no whole nother goddamn history lesson. But anyways, so they're using that voter data to point out and try to identify and locate Hispanics or anyone who they feel is not indigenous to this freaking country. When we are indigenous to this freaking country, who the hell you gonna tell? Never mind. Point of the matter is, that's what they're doing. Okay, so these people are fearing that the data could be used by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, or other agencies to target communities for trafficking, for kidnapping, and being some sick freaking terrorists. So this is what they're saying. This is their message. They are hiding the truth from the American people. They'll use it to keep tearing families and communities apart. This is why Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton did not want to go this drastic measures into immigration. I specifically heard Hillary Clinton say, I cannot bear to see families ripped apart. I cannot see that. Anyone with empathy and sympathy who have children could not bear to see a child ripped out of her mom's hands or a child ripped out of the father's hands and seeing her father face pent on the ground because they think he's an immigrant, or teenagers who so happen to look good. You have fake ICE members dressed up with freaking masks on and shit, no goddamn identification, with guns like they're ready to raid a fucking place, taking these damn teenage girls and stocking them up for the summer or the winter so they can have some in freaking home pussy. That's exactly what they're doing. We have fake ICE members who are trafficking people and being racist as hell. Or should we say Trump little boys running around here doing that as well. Ever since this man got into the White House, there's been nothing but chaos and havoc. And if we don't get rid of him, it's going to get worse. We cannot deal with this man for the next 3 years, or we are going to be in freaking seriously dire straits. I'm going to go ahead and put that crap on out there. Okay? And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Now, other headlines, Trump has threatened Democrats seditiously. Seriously. He has threatened them in a whole new level. Apparently, he said the seditious behavior punishable by death. So he's threatening Democrats by death. Yes, this is what he says. He said, while debates over Ukraine peace proposal and National Guard deployments in D.C. continue, he is threatening to kill people, which is a federal crime to threaten a federal employee or an officer in that general. That is literally a crime. I don't care if you are the president. Meaning he's getting scared and threatening a federal elected official or anyone in a particular, doesn't matter what your status, is a freaking crime. Especially a federal crime to a federal elected official. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're the president or not. Let me just say this. This new age is definitely taking a whole new effect. We are starting to see people for who they truly are, because Trump is being indicted in so many several freaking cases. He got so many lawsuits. They're probably need a whole library to keep track of them. He probably got a whole file drawer, maybe a whole file cabinet, just to keep track of all the crap that's been pretty much brought against him. But he's still running around here and people are afraid to take him down. I'm not sure why. From what I gather, the members and the staff in the White House, they can't wait to get rid of the MF. They think he's freaking crazy. So as I was saying, Trump has been indicted in several cases, ranging from elections interference. This is true. This is what's currently happening. He's been indicted in several cases, ranging from the election interference to classified documents. Some trials are ongoing, others delayed by appeals, civil judgments. He's already been found liable in civil cases of fraud and defamation with financial penalties in the hundreds of millions. Oh, yes. Now, in Supreme Court dynamics, the court has recently sided with him in some disputes like put it like this. They sided with him in some disputes like ballot access, showing how legal outcomes are now straightforward. Now they're starting to see that he's been manipulating ballots. But that can definitely change after this investigation. Take a look at these clips.
President Trump this morning seemed to be calling for the death of some of his political opponents, their execution. At 10:21 this morning, he wrote, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death. He's talking about a handful of House and Senate Democrats with background in the military and the intelligence community and the national security community who put out a video saying that any members of the military or intelligence communities who are handed down illegal orders from their superiors should not carry out illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
True. You shouldn't carry out illegal orders. You shouldn't carry out anything illegal. You shouldn't break the law. President Trump is now accusing these people of sedition. President Trump has been really pushing this on social media in ways that are rather inflammatory. Hang them. George Washington would. That's right. The president actually reposted a tweet that said, hang them. This comes, by the way, in the midst of a week where President Trump is displaying all sorts of rather unusual behavior. Obviously, he's not happy about the release of the Epstein Files. When a woman reporter asked him about that, he said, quiet, piggy. When another woman reporter, one I used to work with, who's a great reporter, Mary Bruce, asked questions about both the Epstein Files and also about Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who was in the Oval Office, and the fact that our own intelligence community says that MBS ordered the murder of a Washington Post journalist named Jamal Khashoggi. President Trump got mad at the reporter for asking about it because he said it would be impolite to MBS. And then he started criticizing the victim of the murder, Khashoggi. He's also, of course, calling for late night comedians who he doesn't like to be fired. It is all a wild melange of strange behavior. And we should not become numb to this. This is not normal behavior from a president. And in fact, when you start calling people traitors and when you start saying that people should be hanged in this climate where there's all this violence against political figures, including against President Trump, that's wildly irresponsible.
I concur. Now, here's the video that got him all riled up.
Senator Alyssa Stockton.
Senator Mark Kelly, Representative Chris Ferguson,
Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. Representative Chrissy Moore.
Congressman Jason Crow, he was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
former Navy,
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer. Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
That trust is up.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
Intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our
They're like ICE members.
We know this is hard, and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
For Navy,
the Air Force.
your vigilance is critical,
Know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. Need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution, and who we are as Americans. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Yeah, don't give up the ship. Well said.
Donald Trump has been branded defiant of Democrats, traitor who should be executed. Political reporter John Michael Ross, 60 seconds on the clock. What's going on?
So yesterday, President Donald Trump made some audacious claims that some Democrats were acting with seditious behavior. He called them out specifically because they released a video earlier this week calling on U.S. troops to not follow, quote, unlawful orders. Now, these Democrats didn't say what those unlawful orders were, and their video really angered the president. So he went on a tirade yesterday morning, basically calling to, in some cases, be hung or face the death penalty, as is the the requirement for seditious behavior. It was absolutely an unbelievable exchange, and it prompted these Democratic lawmakers to actually ask for additional security. Capitol Police, who's responsible for defending senators and congressmen, even said that they're going to up these individual security to 24 hours a day. And they went on, some of these Democrats last night on the table, and started talking about the threats to their life that they've already started receiving after the president said they should face the death penalty.
John, I don't have any Trump aides said anything about this.
I was downplayed it yesterday during the briefing. Now, I haven't talked to any aides myself, but I think that the president is trying to move on from this saga as quickly as possible.
All right, time to read the rest of the story. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Wow. In freaking sane. In freaking sane. Unbelievable. Let's leave it at that. I spent most of the day live show talking about politics because I know I'm truly passionate about that. I can talk about that all day long. Well, not all day long, but all through this live show. But let's get into this Epstein list. Now, do you guys have any idea who's on this list? I don't think y'all know the details of this cockamamie list. Seriously. And Marjorie is pulling out of this political party, which I'm shocked about. I thought the woman had no morals and just completely defined and went against her, I don't know, her morality and integrity just to be loyal to a party who are filled with rapists, liars, and biased and racist fools. But, you know, whatever. And now the Democrats feel like that, too. I mean, it's just not the Republicans. I'm just saying. But the people she was supporting were definitely like that. Now, here are certain people on the Epstein list that you guys should really check out. I mean, seriously. Make sure you hit the like button, you guys, and share. Take a look at this.
So last night, I discovered what I believe to be Jeffrey Epstein's client list. He sent this list to himself 3 times over the years. Now, we're going to go through each of these lists, and I'm going to also put into context what was happening. But before I get into it, I need you guys to not think of this as the trafficking list, the client list, but more of the people involved in his web of intelligence gathering and blackmail schemes. On October 30th, 2016, Jeffrey Epstein emailed this list of people to himself. On November 1st, he then took this same message and forwarded it to himself again. On November 1st was the day that James Comey announced that they were reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. The same James Comey who is currently being prosecuted by Trump. Subject of this email is contacts, and it not only includes familiar names, but also includes things like Boeing and Anna Bryce, the executive director of JP Morgan. Yes, we'll be getting into more names in depth, but I'm just letting you know the names that are making me believe that this is the web. On January 8th, 2018, we see this kind of stream of consciousness email that might have been in like a notes app that Epstein sent to himself called Radical Breakthrough. In the bottom of the original email, we see a smaller version of the names, and included in that name is Roni, who we now know was the assistant to Donald Trump that Epstein was texting the Virginia Islands representative about during Cohen's hearing, where she then asked about Roni. January 8th, 2018 was the day that Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, came out about Donald Trump and Epstein. He then forwarded this list to himself later that night, a more extensive version of the one below. It's clearly not some sort of list for a party or something, because some of the people on this list are dead at the time of this email. Some of these people have never been connected to Epstein in any way until you look closer, like Joan Severance, a former actress and model whose biggest role was in a TV show called Wise Guy with Kevin Spacey, but was discovered in a Miss Houston beauty contest and was introduced to John Casablancas with elite modeling. And as for Halle Berry, it turns out in 1986, she got her big break by becoming Miss Ohio and then was the first runner-up in Miss USA the first year that Donald Trump owned the pageant. This is a name that has never been connected to Epstein in any way. Now, before I show you the final list, I need to put it in context for you because Epstein sent it to himself on June 30th, 2019, 6 days before he was arrested. First, we have to back up to December 4th, 2018, after Epstein and Bannon had buried whatever happened they had between them. On December 4th, Jeffrey Epstein reached a last-minute settlement deal with Bradley Edwards, who is the lawyer for all of the victims in a defamation lawsuit. That day, Bannon texts Epstein, but your deal allows the girls to go tell their stories. He bragged about that and pushed that at the press conference. Epstein says, I'd like to do a documentary on the real story, smiley face. Bannon says, would you let me interview the girls also? Epstein says, yeah, it's a great idea. Bannon, you are kidding, correct? Question mark, question mark, question mark. There's other videos going in depth about Steve Bannon and Epstein's project. According to Bannon, the documentary they were working on was called The Monsters, Epstein's Life Among the Global Elite. But Bannon specifically says that this documentary is going to be blowing up the argument that Epstein can't be redeemed by showing the 12 that he did redeem. It also seemed like Epstein was trying to make sure that the scientists were left out of the island stuff, with Bannon saying they don't need the scientists right now because you are walking through the entire vertical. In businessman speak, a vertical is a power structure starting from the top down. One of the first names that he sends to Bannon is Melanie Walker, brain surgeon. Melanie Walker is not only married to a former VP of Microsoft who is also on these lists, but she met Epstein in 1992 when she was sightseeing in New York alongside Donald Trump near the Plaza Hotel. Epstein put her through medical school and she became his science advisor before going on to be hired by the Gates Foundation. She was his honeypot and the reason that Bill Gates and Melinda got divorced. Epstein specifically said that they are part of a secret society. But in that same conversation, Bannon says, we can pull footage, just get me the names, whether living or dead. 13 days later, he emails to himself, subject, list for Bannon, Steve. Let's not forget the last thing that Donald Trump did before he left office was pardon Steve Bannon. And I believe all of these lists all put together
should be an
paint the
investigator.
picture of the web of blackmail and intelligence that Epstein had created.
She is good. She is very good. I remember I did a live stream of her videos. Hi, Quiet Storm. Hello. How you doing? Where you been? Yeah. Now, here is a quick snip of Marjorie. I'm not going to play this video because it's way too long. So we just play this one right here.
I am actually leaning no on voting on that right now. I have some free speech concerns. Although, of course, China thinks that they apply for our rights. However, I think it could lead into opening sort of a Pandora's box where we are forcing the sale of social media companies. How does that affect things in the future? I've also got some concerns about perhaps where does it go, who will be buying it, and what happens there.
All righty. Moving right along here. I'm done with this whole debacle.
The last night I discovered.
Okay. Let's move it along. Move it along. Move it along. That was an hour. I swear politics is taking up too much goddamn freaking minutes in my live shows because there's so much crap to talk about. This is ridiculous. We're not even a year in freaking term yet, and it's seriously dominating airways. The man is a narcissistic psychopath. We shouldn't be talking about politics this much. This is freaking ridiculous. There's other things we talk about than fucking Trump. Now, let's talk about the royal family. Now, apparently Prince Andrew's fall, King Charles III formally removed Andrew's remaining royal titles, as I stated in my last live show. Yes, and honors in November 2025. Following renewed scrutiny of his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. He is now legally referred to as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, no longer Prince Andrew or Duke of York. He faces eviction from Royal Lodge in Windsor, where he has lived with Sarah Ferguson since 2004. And no, they're not together anymore. They don't even screw. They're just staying in the same house. I swear, I don't understand the British and the way they put up with crap is ridiculous. Anyway. Meanwhile, Sarah Ferguson struggles. Okay, Sarah Ferguson's new children's book, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way, was canceled just days before release amid the scandal. She is also disentangling her business ventures, removing the title Duchess from company documents. Reports suggest she spends much of her time at her private bar, nicknamed the Doghouse, at the Royal Lodge. coping with the fallout. So she be turning up bottles. I'm not sure she's an alcoholic, but you know what the hell she gonna do with that goddamn, you know, never mind. Now, just to reiterate, Sarah Ferguson's next children's book, Thor and Fern, Kindness Along the Way. They don't know what she's going to do with that because it was withdrawn, like I said, from publication amid fallout because, you know, Prince Andrew, her ex-husband, and, you know, a lot of other stuff. Now, it seems like here, the New Frontier Publishing is based in London, and according to Publishers Marketplace, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way did not have a U.S. publisher. So they're thinking she may go to U.S. and try to publish it here, whatever. Now, according to Daily Mail, the book signing and bookshop talks by Ferguson, who is popularly known as Fergie, have also been canceled. So she had book signing, she had a book tour and all other stuff for a children's book, and it's all been canceled because they won't have anything to do with her and her child molesting, raping, disgusting, freaking ex-husband. I don't even know if they're still married. I would have divorced this disgusting ass mom time ago, and I would not have been staying with him. But we are talking about the British royal family. They put up with crap just for namesake, and I'm sorry, I can't do that. Especially if I had their kind of connections and their kind of money. I see if he was financially obligated or having to stay with this man, so you have to do this, and your kids are young, or they're not out there doing their own thing, and they're still financially and emotionally dependent on you. Okay, you have to do what you got to do. But if you do not have those obstacles and those trials and tribulations or thrones in the road, there's no way in Sam hell you should stay in this predicament. Screw that. She should have been long gone a long time ago, and this little hiccup would not have affected her. Like, oh, I haven't been with him in years. But you know, that is my opinion. Here are some videos.
Prince William has reportedly threatened to strip Beatrice and Eugene of their princess titles if Prince Andrew doesn't move out of the Royal Lodge. This comes as the Crown faces increasing pressure for an inquiry into the disgraced prince's lease of the mansion. Prince Andrew could agree to leave the Royal Lodge if he gets to home.
Why are they in this? The whole situation has absolutely nothing to do with either one of them. Moreover, how are you going to strip somebody of their birthright? Now, there is a removal of titles bill, which was introduced, I think, in 2022, and it was recently reintroduced in October of this year. And it's a bill to give the monarch powers to remove titles. And similar to its first introduction 3 years ago, it's back at the second reading. I do maintain that I think they are waiting for William to become king before this becomes a thing. Do I think if all this happened under William's kingship, it would have been worse for Andrew? I actually do. In this case, Andrew would have given reason for William to go to the extreme, and rightfully so. Even if he moves out of Royal Lodge, who's going to occupy it? More than likely, Andrew's going to end up on Crown property.
Well, who cares? Just sit there and collect dust.
Palace being pretty full, as well as the London residence for the Prince and Princess Wales. I mean, he could go to St. James's Palace. This particular residence only has 3 occupants: Princesses Anne, Alexandra, and Beatrice. Well, Anne uses it as her London residence, let me rephrase. Allegedly, Andrew is asking for 2 homes, one for himself, one for Sarah. At this point, Sarah is no longer Duchess of York. And to be frank, she's been mooching off still of Andrew and the royal family since her divorce. I always thought for a moment that these two would get married, especially after Philip had passed away, because that was a no-go for him. Considering everything that's happened, I think a remarriage between these two is going to definitely be a no-go, which means Sarah's going to have to find her own footing on her own. Amid all the scandal, Eugene went to Paris for a girls' trip, and Beatrice is in Saudi Arabia for work. Whether this is true or not, I'm on the side of William probably did say this. The palace has no problem clearing up anything, especially Kensington Palace. These two, for the most part, mind their business. They're going to threaten them because of something their father did. Not even just Prince William, but the UK media has so much smoke for everybody except Andrew. They have decades worth of material regarding these two. In my personal opinion, I feel like they're treating this similar to the abdication. Meaning, if this story gets too far out of hand, they feel like it will be the downfall of the monarchy. But on the contrary, if you held them accountable like they need to be, it would help the monarchy flourish. That's your word.
Yes, so I hope it flourish.
Sarah Ferguson is contemplating lucrative offers for a major TV interview after her recent fall from grace and a loss of her Duchess of York title, with US and global media vying for her first public statement since being stripped of her royal status alongside Prince Andrew. Insiders reveal palace fears over potential revelations. The prospect of a high-profile chat potentially with Oprah Winfrey raises concerns about embarrassment for the royal family, while Ferguson considers this an opportunity to clear her name, discuss her association with Jeffrey Epstein, and restore her reputation. Amid financial struggles, widespread media interest, and her search for a new home, Sarah weighs her next move.
Unbelievable. Their clothes are so old fashioned. What year is it? 1870 or something? Oh gosh, they need to really get a fashion upgrade.
Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie seem to be paying the price for their father, Prince Andrew's mistakes. Since Andrew was officially stripped of his Royal Highness title by King Charles and suspended from all royal duties due to scandal, he no longer enjoys the privileges of a royal family member, no longer represents the royal family publicly, and even appears very low-key at family events. Such punishment is understandable. However, Beatrice and Eugenie remain inevitably overshadowed by their father's scandal. Some still question whether they deserve a place in the future royal structure. Although they retain their princess titles, many believe their future roles may be further marginalized, seen only as symbolic members. Prince William has increasingly participated in discussions about royal reforms in recent years. To reduce the taxpayers' burden and improve public trust, he intends to slim down the number of royal members, keeping only those who are zero controversy and fully loyal. Members like Prince Edward and his wife and young Prince James, who are low profile and free of negative news, are seen as the stable forces of the future royal family. Even Queen Camilla's continued role as a core member remains uncertain. What do you think of William's approach?
I don't give two flying figs of what he did to any of them people. But I'm going to be real here. He should be the last person to be talking about controversy when him and his wife is always the main primary source of controversy. But, that's just my opinion. And do I agree with him and taxpayers? I don't care what he does. I mean, he should be the one to talk, but whatever. Don't care. Don't care what he do to those royal members. But, I know we all know who he's primarily going to target, Meghan and Harry. He needs to do something else. Isn't the homelessness down there looking bad? I mean, he has other things he needs to be doing. Seriously. But, I don't care what he does to these people. Anyway, moving right along here. I know that fashion is hideous and old, just old. Anyway, Sarah Ferguson, in her leaving, she's thinking about doing an expose and just spilling all the beans about Meghan Markle, anything to make her, stay in the limelight and make money. This is what she's talking about doing.
I believe what's finally come to light. Sarah Ferguson, yes, the Duchess who's seen every scandal under the royal sun, is no longer staying quiet. She's ready to spill every truth she's kept locked away for years. Not just about her own life, but about her relationship with Meghan Markle. The secrets, the private moments, the things the public never even imagined. This isn't a rumor, darling. This is Fergie, the woman who has lived through fires that would have burned anyone else to ashes, finally stepping forward with raw honesty that could shake the entire royal foundation. Because while Meghan was busy building her perfect story, that flawless image of a woman who walked into the royal world with grace and destiny, Fergie was standing right there, watching, observing, seeing the moves before anyone else did. She saw the rise, she saw the mask, and most dangerously, she saw the cracks forming long before anyone dared to whisper it. And now, when Sarah has nothing left to lose, no title that protects her, no royal shield, no cozy circle to keep her safe, she's decided it's time to tell the truth, the real truth. And it doesn't begin with a royal wedding. Oh no, it begins years earlier, in places Meghan probably hoped no one would ever talk about. Sarah Ferguson has always lived on the razor's edge of the royal world, close enough to see the secrets, far enough to be punished for knowing them. She survived the unthinkable, public shaming, financial collapse, years of whispers and ridicule, and every single time she's smiled, rebuilt, and risen again. But this time it feels different. The insiders say it. Fergie has reached that place where there's nothing left to protect. Andrew, a burden. Her title, meaningless. Her royal connections, distant shadows. And when a woman reaches that stage, when she's stripped of everything, that's when she becomes dangerous. That's why this rumored tell-all isn't just gossip. It's a warning, a message to the palace.
Okay, she's going to end up like Princess
Diana.
Diana.
To Meghan Markle. Because you see, Fergie hasn't forgotten. She hasn't forgotten how Meghan treated her. The icy distance, the polite dismissal, the quiet erasure. Nor has she forgotten the secrets Meghan wanted buried. A woman with nothing to lose can tell everything.
She's just
and
trying to get
exactly
paid.
what makes Fergie so
Let her go
terrifying
ahead.
right
We'll
now.
let her in the
Before
video.
Meghan ever walked through the gates of Kensington Palace, she was already weaving her web inside some of the most exclusive circles. Billionaire parties, political
So I'm
dinners,
jealous.
royal adjacent gatherings. None of that happened by accident. Standing at the center of those glittering rooms was Marcus Anderson, the famous figure from Soho House, the man known as the gatekeeper, the one who decided who got access to power and who didn't. Sources whisper that it was Marcus who opened the right doors for Meghan, the private jets, the secret parties, the connections that mattered. And oh, let's not forget Ron Burkle, billionaire, jet owner, and a close friend of King Charles himself. Insiders say Meghan flew on Burkle's private plane to that Jamaica wedding. Harry, he flew economy plus, but Meghan, private jet. That tiny detail tells a huge story. And people like Fergie, trust me, they notice. That world watches who
She's just
enters with
jealous.
grace and who barges in with ambition. And Meghan was moving with purpose. That's why when people say Fergie knows Meghan's world, they're not exaggerating. She knows the people, the circles, the whispers behind closed doors. She knows the version of Meghan that existed long before the palace cameras ever lit up her smile. And that's the version she could expose, the one Meghan thought she'd erased. Long before the world saw cracks in the royal fairy tale, they started behind the scenes, quietly, between Meghan and the York women. To understand that, you need to understand their world. Beatrice and Eugene, born royal, raised under pressure, but trained to navigate the chaos with grace. They understood the expectations, the gossip, the judgment. They had watched their mother suffer under royal scrutiny all their life.
I understand when people seriously are down in their luck, they just start acting silly. Why is Meghan being a target when her husband has been exploited for being a rapist and a pedophile, and she's going after Meghan? There's other members of the royal family that she could expose, but she doing what everybody else does. Ugh, woman, get a hobby. Anyway, moving right along here. I can't deal with Fergie and her Fergusness. Now, as I was saying before this, whatever you want to call it, let's move on to celeb gossip. Okay, we need to talk about that. Okay. Because I can't deal with, I was going to give a whole prologue about that, but I don't really care, honestly. Seriously, I was going to tell you guys, go back a little bit here. This is what I was going to say. Okay. This is what I was going to say. I was going to say this. Princess Eugene is reportedly considered leaving the royal life under encouragement from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who will have offered support if she ever moved to the U.S. So it's allegedly, this is all alleged, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is urging Princess Eugene to come down to the U.S. and, build her empire down there. Because the sisters are pressured and public calls amount for them to lose their titles, as you saw in the last clip. And, Prince William is starting, to do all his little mess. I'm telling you, he's like a Donald Trump. He's just smarter. I keep telling you guys that. Now, that's what I want to say. And I said it. So move right along here. Okay, now, let's start talking about celeb gossip here. Now, apparently, these are the red carpet highlights. Tom Cruise accepted an honorary Academy Award, marking a major career milestone. Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman reunited on the red carpet promoting their film Song Sung Blue. Don't even know what that is and don't really care. And then we have Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce her last name, stunned in pink and green looks, celebrating their roles in Wicked. There's been a lot of rumors surrounding Wicked. There's a lot of controversy apparently about the demeanor of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, or Erivo, how you pronounce the name. Take a look at these clips. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Hold up. What was with the arm and wrist situation? I need to look at that again. I'm confused. What was going on with that? Hold on. Let's say a lot. What was he doing? Hold on. Oh, was he holding her too hard? Oh, okay, yeah, he was holding her a little too hard. Okay. Yes. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, here's another video. I don't know what to say about these two. I do have my analysis on why she's doing this, but take a look at this.
No one else concerned about what's going on with Wicked. I mean, why have all the characters completely transformed? People are genuinely starting to get concerned, and for good reason. Why is this happening? Are they missing the meals on set? Someone please explain that to me, or maybe I just have missing meals. What? I don't condone any form of body shaming at all, but I definitely see why everyone's concerned for their health, and I seriously hope they're okay. I mean, what do you guys think? Should we be concerned? Let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, I think people are reading too much into this. Now she's saying there's some witchcraft going on. Let's see what she has to say.
I don't see how in 2025 some of y'all cannot believe in witchcraft. If you don't believe in witchcraft, or if you don't know what witchcraft looks like, I'm gonna give you an example of witchcraft. Cynthia, Erivo, and Ariana Grande. That is witchcraft if I've never seen witchcraft before. I don't know if you realize this, but all witchcraft is mind control. And the way that lady runs to Ariana's defense, that's mind control. That is MK Ultra. It's giving get out. Somebody click the teacup. Somebody get her from this fucking place. I don't know how y'all don't see this. A lot of people are under witchcraft, mind control. A lot of people are being controlled by another person's emotions. That's why, if you read the Bible, he who angers you controls you. Anyone who can have so much control, so much power over you in the way you react, in the way you go about things, in the way that you move, that's witchcraft. That is witchcraft if I've never seen it. And you can mix that with a little bit of Uncle Ruckus, mammy-like behavior. I don't know how y'all don't see it. A lot of those celebrities from other places, they run to do things for, other cultures and other races. But keep in mind you, a lot of these people, they don't mess with Black people like that. I'm telling y'all, it's some type of voodoo, it's some type of witchcraft. It makes Blacks not like Blacks. It makes everybody not like Blacks. It's like, I don't know, but Blacks will do anything. And she is British, so they will do these British, Africans. They will all do anything for whites and Hispanics. Like, it's witchcraft. I said what I said.
Okay, do I agree with her on the witchcraft? There is a lot of witchcraft going on in Hollywood. We already know that already. We have celebrities who are still in the essence of private citizens. There are celebrities who are constantly still in the essence just to stay relevant, even of past legends. We have people going to practicing witches. Remember, real, authentic, and genetic witches do not broadcast their witchcraft involvement, which means they're not wearing the black paint and the black earrings, and they're not looking like they straight from a witch's book. They look like everyday people. Those are authentic genetic witches. But there are dark witches, which we are aware that are in Hollywood. Now, here is my analysis about this situation. Now, we all know Ariana Grande had, in fact, was a victim of Dan Schneider's sexual harassment all throughout her entire freaking childhood. Okay? We know that. During the recording of this movie, that controversy was going viral all over the media. So therefore, the staff, the co-actors, and et cetera, more than likely, especially women, were overprotective of her well-being. And it was told that she, had breakdowns and things of that nature. And it was hard for her to concentrate. She lost weight. It was a whole plethora of freaking emotions that she had to relive during the taping of this movie. And making that movie was very stressful for all of them. You know what I'm saying? So she was a victim ever since she was a kid, being sexually exploited. So the women on the staff and some men are very overprotective of her because they still see her as a little child, even though she's a grown-ass damn woman, but they still see her as this little girl who's trying to squeeze potatoes down her mouth to interpret or misinterpret other sexual acts. This is what Darren Schneider did. He had sexually exploited this girl for years. And this just got broadcasted. She had to relive through this shit. This girl had been sexually exploited ever since she came into the Hollywood scene. So I think these women are protective. Like, why this man shaking her arm too freaking heavy? Why is this dude running on the red carpet trying to grab her? What the hell is going on here? Why eggs are being broken? What the fuck? So this is why they're doing this. People are thinking it's witchcraft. I don't think it's witchcraft. I think they're being overprotective of her because she's been through enough. She may be talented and things of that nature, but she's very naive. Stop thinking these celebrities who are in front of the camera are just the most outrageous and intelligent people. A lot of them are naive as hell because they put up with some really stupid shit. Okay? So that's what I believe that these women and people surrounding Ariana Grande are being like this. Okay? Because of what she's been through. It's called motherly nature to protect someone. And fortunately and unfortunately, our people are always going to be protectors despite race, which I sometimes wish we did not have that kind of, empathy and sympathy and, loving and caring for anyone. Because if we didn't, we probably wouldn't be in the freaking situation we are right now. And I'm saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, it didn't help us in the past. I'm just saying. But I believe that's what's going on right now.
No one else concerned about what's going on with Wicked.
So it's not, that if they're losing weight, it's because they're stressed. I'm just saying. She'll gain a weight after the promotion tour. I'm sure they all will be fine after this shit is over. All right, now let's talk about celebrity splits here. All right, it seems that it seems that Kandi Burrruss, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, and Todd Tucker, the Real Housewives Atlanta alum, announced her divorce after 11 years of marriage, citing the need to protect her peace and focus on family. Yes, exactly. She was wearing that short little skirt and they were sexually exploiting her then. She'd been having this done to her all of her life. Absolutely. Clive Davis as well. Absolutely. So, yes, apparently her husband of 11 years, they are divorcing. And they're asking for the peace and they want to focus on family. Here is clips to talk about their, unfortunate. Didn't I tell you guys a couple years back there's, during this transition to we're already in the age of Aquarius, that there's going to be a lot of marriages that has been married for a number of years. It's going to be a lot of divorces in general because people are seeing the truth of their partners and they're seeing the true and clarity of their situation. And they're like, okay, I can do better or I can do bad by myself. You can get a lot of that now. People are not trying or no longer settling. Okay.
The news of Kandi and Todd's divorce is sad, but not in the least bit surprising because longer than I would have with Mama Joyce as a mother-in-law. Do y'all remember how she refused to smile in their wedding pictures? She gave that man hell for the better part of a decade. But I came to see this because these two had a beautiful black family. I love the way they were parenting Ace and Blaze, taking them to school together, providing them that stable traditional upbringing with two present parents. You could tell they were really trying. Now, Kandi didn't do her marriage any favors by bringing a third party into their bedroom. That kind of thing sounds cute until it cracks the foundation of your marriage wide open. Kandi walked into this marriage knowing love is cute, but absence is cuter. She had Todd sign an ironclad prenuptial agreement stating that everything she earned before the marriage stays hers. So Kandi will retain all her music royalties, escape money, TV and film credits, bedroom candy, and any other pre-existing businesses. Todd will only get a portion of what they built together, only based on his involvement, not split 50-50 down the middle. Todd has zero access to Riley's trust, inheritance, or assets. So the question is, will he challenge it or request child support and alimony? I will say that even though Todd never had the same net worth as Kandi. He really did help to elevate and expand her business, and for that, he has my respect. Well, shout out to Mama Joyce, because she is about to have the best holiday season of her life.
Her dress is pretty.
News of Kandi and Todd's divorce is set.
I literally just got home and now I'm back to work. Girl, Kandi and Todd are splitting up and it's confirmed. I'm sorry, I have to be messy. I know Mama Joyce popped the champagne the day Kandi went to go file. Y'all know people, they be giving us confirmation and they got the exclusive with a statement from Kandi. After deep thought and a lot of prayer, I've made a decision to move forward with divorce. This is a difficult and emotional time, but my focus remains on protecting my peace, being the best mother I can be, and co-parenting with love and respect. I'm stepping into a new chapter, pouring into my work, my family, and my own growth. I'm grateful to everyone who supported us throughout the years and ask for privacy, grace, understanding as we navigate this transition with our family. That was something to say from her and not from her and Todd. Now, I did see yesterday in like a screenshot from a housewife's Facebook group that allegedly Todd was apparently cheating with one of her employees. That has not been confirmed or denied, but people noticed that she did change her last name from Burrruss Tucker to just Burrruss on IG. Now, I did not think she had it as hyphenated on IG because I do follow her. And she faked them in her BravoCon speech this past weekend in Vegas. They've been married for 11 years. They have 2 children together. Girl, all I can think about is how they're going to split the businesses because they were involved in a lot. Production, restaurants. Does this mean she's coming back for Housewives? Because that divorce actually might be tea. I did not think we'd get one more Bravo divorce before the end of the year, and I was not expecting it from them. Let me know what y'all think.
I don't follow that story. But you know what? I wish for her the best. Move right along here. I don't really care. All right, so now he probably did cheat. Who knows? I heard a lot of rumors back in the day about their sexual activities, but that was all. Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson split earlier this year after a decade together, saying they've been living separately and prioritizing their children. I told you all that this new age is the age of awakening and letting go of the forced image of what true happiness is that was instilled in our brains by the church and society. This awakening will force many couples of many years not to settle, and that is okay to have true happiness with just yourself, your kids, and close family and friends, etc. You don't have to be married. Being married is not the ideal and the utmost achievement to have. I gotta be married. I gotta have kids. No, you can be married to your work. You can be married to your hobby. You can be married to the community. You can be married to your goddamn self. Who in the hell cares? Do not let society navigate and tell you what true happiness is. Okay, we are not in the UK. This is America. Just want to point that crap on out there. Okay, let me pull up this website. I'm gonna pull up this website, but take a look at this first.
Okay, she talked about a date that they went on. They went out to eat. It was at Nobu that I found out Eric was vegan and almost did a spit take. Well, I'm changing that, I thought. I did for a time, but he went back to eating that way. It was like, I think this is maybe the first time they went out to dinner or something. Like, this is very early on. She's already like, well, I'll change that about him. Again, she's leading the relationship. She's she's chasing him. She's going to control him. She's going to conform him into what she wants. Again, I'm not saying that this was their dynamic of the whole relationship, but this is how it started.
Well, now we know why Jessica Simpson is divorcing her husband, Eric. What's Eric's last name? Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Jessica Simpson's husband. I'm going to give you all the details. She released her new song called Leave on music. I just listened to it. It's really good. And it basically details her experience with her husband cheating on her. Surprise, surprise.
She says surprise, surprise.
So anyway, she kicked him out. In the song, she calls their relationship unholy matrimony. She says, "You're giving her what you gave to me. Said we had magic, now you made it tragic. Did you do to her what you did to me? I want you to leave. I don't want to even breathe the air that you breathe. I'd rather die than let you be inside me with her on your mouth." You get the picture. Go listen to it. So after 10 years of marriage, she kicked him out. So she said they had been separated for a while before they announced their divorce. and that this song was hard for her to write because it made her forced her to tap into something that was scary to deal with, basically. Prior, she had told people that they were dealing with something painful in their marriage, like him cheating. But apparently, they are co-parenting peacefully, and he even took care of the kids while she made the EP in Nashville, and they're all coexisting peacefully. So that's good. Have you listened to the song? Do you like it? And are you surprised?
Jessica Simpson has always been a very blunt woman. I mean, I remember when she first came out, she used to. She had the live show with that dude, Nick Lacey, I believe that's his name. And she used to say some pretty bizarre things on that, not live show, but that reality TV show they had together. It was freaking hilarious. That girl is something else. Anyway, let's move on here.
She talked about the date that they went on. They went out to eat.
I didn't know people were dedicated to her gossip business like that. I know her fashion is pretty nice. I've actually bought some of her purses and shoes. She's definitely good at that. Her coats are really nice too. I have bought some merchandise and only bought it because it wasn't too expensive. I mean, I'm not trying to spend an obscene amount of money, but you know, it was cheap and it was cute. And I still have her coat. I still have the coat that she came out with. It's still classic. It's still cute and timeless. I mean, the girl has a fashion sense. She may be saying some pretty off the wall things, but she got some skills. You understand me? She got some skills. I'm going to put that crap on out there. All right, I need to pull up this TikTok video. Hold on, why am I putting up this TikTok video for? I don't remember why I pulled up this TikTok video. You know what? Screw the TikTok video. We need to move on here. I was going to pull it up and show some extra videos, I think. But we're going to go ahead and ignore these extra videos because we're just going to do that. Okay. Never mind that. Okay, moving right along here. Let's talk about Kanye West here. Oh, this boy. Okay, apparently Kanye West shocked fans with disturbing revelations about his childhood, releasing a song titled Cousins that sparked widespread concern whether his typical gossip frenzy. So Kanye West being his usual controversy, oversharing, weird self. So Kanye West, is currently in the headlines for two major reasons. His canceled Brazil concert due to legal threats and a rare public interview in Japan where he made a bleak remark about regretting life. So this is starting to get very, very serious. Now, apparently this Brazil concert cancellation, Ye's highly anticipated Sao Paulo concert, it actually sold out in seconds. So even though he's causing all this controversy and havoc and stuff of that nature, he's still selling out and people are still liking his shit. It's crazy as hell. I mean, it's good for him, I guess, financially, but I'm just saying. So it's Sao Paulo, I think, Paulo concert, November 29, 2025, was canceled after weeks of uncertainty. Now, the Interlagos racetrack venue revoked its contract and the mayor declared the city would not host him. So the Sao Paulo State Public Prosecutor Office warned Ye could face immediate arrest if he performed songs or made comments promoting Nazism, that's what they call it, specifically his controversy track, Hail Hitler. Organizers confirmed cancellation on November 20, 2025, citing political resistance and high production costs. Ticket holders were promised refunds or future validity. Now, here's an interview in Japan that was recorded 2 days ago. Ye appeared in a TikTok street interview where he was asked about fashion regrets and response his life. This morbid remark sparked widespread concerns among fans who noted he looked sad and tired. Well, he needs to leave his wife alone and he needs to try to make things up with his ex-wife, and be a father to his kids. Ever since it seemed like Jay-Z, even though I heard him and Jay-Z made up, but it was like ever since that whole friendship disintegrated, he's just been acting like a crazy person. Anyway, now the video went viral with millions of views in a single day, reigniting conversations about his mental health and public absence. Here is the video right here.
Brazil concert might be cooked for Ye, the concert he was having in Brazil. Now, let me show you this questionnaire. The questionnaire, if you bought a ticket to this show, your opinion is very important to us. We want to hear from you. Your responses will be received and sent to all parties. Which of these options do you prefer? Postponing the show to a new date next year to allow more time for a larger venue? Bring it forward a week and do it within CNEA, but on a day exclusively for Ye? Cancel the show and get your money back. Keep the show on 11/29/25 at a new, smaller venue. And the second question is, if this can't happen, what's your next best choice? Now, do not do postpone because it could just get canceled, and do not put canceled, bro. Either choose bring it forward or keep the show on the same date. Like this, a comment, repost, let me know your thoughts. Choose one of those two though. Ye's Brazil show has officially been canceled. Don't forget to like this, follow my page, comment, repost. Back to it. So the venue, they weren't able to perform. We actually knew this in advance. They actually sent out a low dog, which actually lets you choose a few options if you wanted it to be delayed, if you wanted it to be at a different venue, or you wanted it to be canceled and refunded. So it seems like another date is going to be scheduled. We don't know that date right now. We currently have 4 different actual performances scheduled, 2 in Mexico City and 2 others in other places. Go back on my video. It's on the page going over it. So if you want to check that out, check my page. That being said, like this, comment, repost again. Follow my page if you want to stay up to date with Ye, hip hop, music. I be doing all the content. Y'all know what to do.
We could potentially see the arrest of Kanye West after Brazilian police threatened to arrest him at his concert. That's right, man. Things are really not looking good for Kanye West, as he could potentially be facing jail time in Brazil. And all of this came out after Kanye West announced that he's going to be doing a live performance in Brazil this month. Behind me, you can actually see the post that Kanye ended up posting on Instagram, and you can see he's going to be performing November 29th. However, Brazilian authorities clearly have very different plans. As right after Kandi would announce this concert, Brazil's state prosecutors would announce that they have been given the order to arrest Kanye. And not only just arrest Kanye, but arrest everybody involved with booking this concert. As not only did they announce that police will be on standby at the concert, but if Kanye goes on to make any anti-Semitic remarks, he will immediately be arrested. And more specifically, Brazilian authorities are worried that Kanye West is going to go on to play his most infamous song, HH. However, Brazil is not playing around, and if Kanye does end up performing any of those songs, he will face jail time. And at this point, Kanye may just have to cancel the entire concert, because I guarantee you, if he does go on to perform, we will see him get arrested.
Yeah, his luck is kind of disintegrating. You know, as we get deeper into the age of Aquarius, you no longer have that cosmic, you know, attraction or veil, an infatuation, you know, from the last age of Pisces. You no longer have that anymore. People are starting to see him as his true self, and he may not like that. I'm just going to put that right. I don't know. But just to update here, family and personal life, Ye remains married to Bianca Censori since 2022, often appearing with her in public. His ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, recently admitted on a podcast that she and their children, North St. Chicago and Psalms, haven't heard from him in months, leaving her struggling to explain his absence to the kids. So he hasn't even spoken to his kids. He's been seriously an absent father, which he made us believe that he would never be. But he's being what he claimed he would never be. So I don't know what his problem is, but whatever. This wife of his is not being influenced enough or inspiring him. He needs someone to inspire him. This is like some blood sucking essence still in the relationship that he's in right now. And he needs to come out of it and become his true self again. Or seek some counseling or something, man. God damn, this is getting ridiculous.
Brazil concert might be...
Pussy can't be that damn good where you just naive and stupid. God damn, what the hell she do? Put a spell on him or something? I'm right along here. Okay, now Hailey Bieber became a subject of viral. Let me go back. Hailey Bieber became a subject of viral TikTok memes with fans speculating about her long-standing obsession with Justin Bieber. Yes, she's still obsessed with this boy. I thought we moved past this, but apparently she has not moved past this. She's still obsessed with this freaking boy. I'm going to go ahead and put that crap on out there. She's still obsessed with Justin Bieber. I know they're married and everything, but her love goes deep, like very deep. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Straight up. She's still obsessed with him. I mean, this must have been her first love, her first whatever. I'm starting to realize that. Maybe that's why she's still obsessed with him. I don't know. But let's go ahead and pull up this clip right quick so you guys can take a look and put an end to this whole debacle. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oops, sorry. You guys are looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. strive to fame should have been dwindled by now. But you know what? Maybe it takes a little while for her to wake the hell up or something. And maybe she just needs to yeah. Anyway, move around, I don't care. We are going to jump into this new age of Aquarius, and then we're going to end this live show. And y'all know me, by the time I do another live show, it'll be like 2-3 weeks from now. So anyway, this new age of Aquarius. Okay, let's break down of the age of the past age of Pisces and Aquarius, because you guys really need to know that. Before we get started, take a look at this video. This video right here will give you, and I've played this video several times, and I just realized I cut off some stuff. Hold on for a second. I cut off a little bit here. Let me fix that a little bit. I know I did that. Hold on. Doing some little fixing here, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. You guys saw me do. Sorry about that. And I'll make this quick, seriously. So let's let this update a little bit. It has updated. So we're going to wait for that to update. While we're waiting for that to update, let's look at something right quick. See if I can put on some little transition music, if you'll let me. It's probably going to say, no, we're going to go ahead and wait for this thing to update. We're not going to wait for you to put on little transition music, because that's pretty much what it's going to say. Do you guys have any questions? But I give you a little brief summary here. Okay, so this new age of Aquarius, which is Aquarius opposite Aquarius Leo. And then, of course, we have to complete this fixed sign new age. And I've said this several times, it's Taurus and Scorpio in that order. Okay, it has had a cosmic effect on many people already. If you are amongst these signs, you probably had the effect. If you were amongst the last age, which was Pisces, opposite of Pisces, Virgo, and Scorpio, not Scorpio, but and it was also Sagittarius and Gemini. That particular last age, those individuals who were those signs were literally cosmically influenced, and they had a lot of cosmic interaction, and it had a lot of cosmic fame, such as, Michael Jackson, and you have Kanye West, and you have Trump, and you have not Jennifer Lopez, but Beyonce, and you have Jay-Z, and you have all these people who were amongst this freaking age, and how it had so much cosmic influence on them. That is currently where we at the moment. Okay, we are having that same cosmic influence, but it's in another, put it like this, the crown has been switched and handed over to Aquarius and Leo and Taurus and Scorpio now. They're wearing the crown of the cosmic influence. And if you're among that age, those signs in this age, you should have felt that cosmic influence. I am Aquarius, and I've been definitely feeling it. Aside from the fact that I have thieves in my life, but I definitely have been feeling it a very great deal. And it's very interesting. I'll give you guys examples a little bit later, as soon as this damn thing freaking come up here. So we are just waiting for this thing to update. But let me tell you, you should receive more attention than you normally would have. You should have been lucky than you normally would have. And you probably receive more attention, not all good attention, but bad attention as well. You'll have people desperately trying to get next to you. Then you have people desperately trying to destroy you. And you should definitely feel some kind of mental, effect in your mind and body if you haven't felt that. You know what I'm saying? So this is what this age is currently doing. Okay. Here are the videos. This video you guys already have saw that I definitely put on my page already, but here it is again. As you all know, we are in a transition to a new age of Aquarius, air and east, Leo, fire and south, Taurus, earth and north, and Scorpio, water and west. From the last ages of Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. This indicates that the influence and strength of these new age signs are just beginning to manifest. The impact of the previous signs was equally potent. The infatuation, hence celebrities and people of these signs, and the praises, hence Christianity, that came out during the age of Pisces. And the loyalty of these signs were insane. I was particularly caught up in the influence of the top signs of Pisces and Virgo, especially during my time as a devoted Christian. All my exes, and there weren't many, they were of older age. Yes, one Gemini, my husband, and one Pisces. I was obsessed with him. I craved him. And Sagittarius was among my exes. When I started to become more spiritual, the infatuation and idolatry veil faded, and I was able to see all of them clearly. Imagine the pain Cassie, a Virgo, must have felt knowing that signs alike, such as Beyonce and Michael Jackson, who are also Virgos, continue to receive worship. They were being idolized like gods and goddesses, still are. Thanks to the time glitches and manipulation after the election, many of us felt it, like something definitely shifted. Hell, poor Cassie was preyed on like a sex object. Diddy was obsessed. He craved her blood, urine, everything. Rihanna is a Pisces. Men craved her and still do, and worship her. She has achieved such enormous success that she is now a billionaire without school training or years of mastering her craft of 50. Kanye and Donald Trump, who are both Geminis, had many flaws that were overlooked for so many years until now. Heck, they became billionaires despite all their shit. Now, we are in the dawn of this new age of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. The people of these zodiac signs, dead or alive, are being worshipped again. Especially the top two signs, Aquarius and Leo. Just like the passing age was Pisces and Virgo. They were all and will be worshipped. Alicia Keys is in Aquarius. Her songs are being played on heavy rotation again. So is Megan Thee Stallion, despite all the legal crap that she's going through. I would say more, but Aquarians love their solitude and privacy. They don't care for the spotlight. The Leo signs are Meghan Markle, Jennifer Lopez, Barack Obama, Sandra Bullock, Lawrence Fishburne, Vivica Fox, Michael Ealy, Diva Woodside, Megan Good, Viola Davis, Mila Kunis, Halle Berry, and the list goes on. They will be worshipped like the passing age of Virgo, primarily because Aquarians don't care for it. Malcolm X, pioneer, civil rights activist, gave his life in revealing the truth to his people. He was a Taurus. His teachings are being recovered and preached again. Not to mention the Scorpios, who are Ryan Reynolds, Drake. As you all know. And there it is. Okay, moving on here. And in this new video that I just made today, it will tell you and give you a good insight and a peek on how this cosmic influence affected people such as Michael Jackson. Now, remember I said the passing age was Pisces and Virgo. They were literally the top tier, Pisces and Virgo. The last age was Pisces. So the opposite of Pisces is Virgo, and it was Gemini and Sagittarius. Michael Jackson was, guess what he was? He was a Pisces and a Virgo, and his rising was also a fucking Pisces. So dude had a double dosage of the last age with a Virgo also being his sign. So this is why, aside from him being talented, This is why he was practically worshipped like a divine deity, because that cosmic infatuation and influence helped him a great deal, aside from his talents. But let's be realistic here. There are a lot of people who can dance and could also freaking sing and can sing better than him. He's a legend. Yes, he is. But let's be realistic here. The cosmic influence made people infatuated with him. Times 20. Look at this quick video I made.
Beloveds, we're at the threshold of ages. The age of Pisces has closed its scroll, and the age of Aquarius unfurls its cosmic script. Each era crowns its icons. Each age births its mythic transmitters. In the Piscean age, the mutable signs reigned: Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius. Michael Jackson embodied with the Virgo sun and Pisces moon. Virgo gave him precision, every step choreographed to perfection. Pisces gave him allure, dissolving boundaries until he was idolized as a deity. But now the wheel has turned. The age of Aquarius calls forth the fixed signs: Aquarius, Leo, Taurus. Beloveds, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius. Michael Jackson embodied.
Just play it
in
over.
The Piscean age, the mutable signs reigned: Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius. Michael Jackson embodied with the Virgo sun and Pisces moon. Virgo gave him precision, every step choreographed to perfection. Pisces gave him allure, dissolving boundaries until he was idolized as a deity. But now the wheel has turned. The age of Aquarius calls forth the fixed signs: Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio. This is not the age of mutable duality, but of fixed power. Liberation, sovereignty, embodiment, and transformation are the codes of our time. Prisnachini, idolized performer of Pisces, to the liberator scribe of Aquarius. The age has changed, and so must we. Let us remember. Let us restore. Let us reign.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, get into it. Okay, Michael Jackson was a Virgo sun. Okay? He was a Virgo sun with the Pisces moon. And his ascendant was also a Pisces. This combination gave him a grounded, detail-oriented core Virgo. And then you pair it with a deeply emotional, imaginative, and mystical inner world Pisces. Yes. So him being born on August 29th, 1958. Okay. Michael's Virgo sun gave him discipline, perfectionism, and an obsessive drive for detail. He paid attention to detail. You see these behind the scenes of his concerts. He always, and same thing with Beyonce and, Tyler Perry and yada, yada. They're paying attention to detail. This is why his performances were so maliciously choreographed. Every move moved was refined to near perfection. Virgo energy also made him a highly self-critical, always striving for improvement. Okay. Him being a Pisces moon. Let's go back. Okay. Him being a Pisces moon. Okay. Infused him with sensitivity, vulnerability, and a dreamlike aura. It gave him the ability to channel emotions into music, dance, and mythic performance. So his Pisces moon also explains his tendency toward escapism. Well, he wanted to escape. And the ethereal quality that made fans idolize him almost like a deity, because he was part of the last age of Pisces and Virgo. Okay, that's why. That's why he was worshipped practically like Jesus, which they compared his fame like Jesus. And I don't think he didn't like that shit. He liked it. And him being a Pisces rising, yes, the world saw him as a mystical, otherworldly and larger than life. They wanted to have his blood. They thought he slept in tanks. They thought he was from outer space and shit. They really thought he was a fucking god, because that cosmic influence made people think that way. He was a Virgo he was half Virgo and half Pisces, sun, moon, rising. This rising sign amplified his aura of enchantment, making him appear as if he lived between worlds, like he was not human. And he kept doing the same moves over and over and over again. Old-fashioned move that he stole from Frank Sinatra or old greats such as that. You know, let's be realistic here. Chris Brown can outdance him. Okay, I know you guys gonna come at me, and, whatever. He is a legend. He is very inspirational. He was definitely honest. He went through a lot. The media scrutinized him just like they do Jesus and all these other religious people, because he was cosmically getting enhanced by that last age. Now, with the veil being lifted, we see all the struggles and the pain and suffering that he had to endure. So what made his legend and his influence last is because he was honest. Excuse me. He was honest. He was not evil. If he was an evil person and he got his fame in evil ways, like some people who are now serving sentences, then we would not be liking him. He will be seriously lynched in the media, just like Donald Trump, just like all the rest of them. Donald Trump used to be rapped about in rap songs. People wanted to be like him, and Bill Gates. Now that we know the truth about them, they're literally getting lynched. Their names is no longer associated with accomplishments and achievements anymore. We saw the truth when it came to Michael Jackson, and now we see, okay, he did endure a lot of pain, so we feel empathy and sympathy for him, and we also appreciate what he has done to the music industry. But he's not idolized like he used to be. Not anymore. He's appreciated. It's a big goddamn difference. But this mythic resonance from the Virgo Pisces polarity is powerful from that last age. Virgo grounds the dream. Pisces dissolve the boundaries. Together, they created an archetype of the divine performer, immortal body channeling cosmic artistry. So yes, your intuition was right. Michael Jackson carried Virgo sun and Pisces moon, a blend that made him both malicious and transcendent. You understand what a cosmic influence. Indeed, the previous age encompassed Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. He was undoubtedly among the top two elements of that era, which is Pisces and Virgo, embodying a double dosage of the defining sign of that time, affected in the allure and the intention. Now, the age of Pisces acts as beautifully, but the previous age carried the mutable signs Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius as its defining current. Michael Jackson again embodied the essence of his Virgo sun, Pisces moon, and rising of Pisces. Okay, that's what it was. Now, you want to know why he resonated powerfully? Virgo sun, the malicious craftsman obsessed with detail, ritual, and perfection. All Virgos are obsessed with details. Trust me, I know. And they are annoying. They pay attention to every detail. It wasn't like that. The beat was a little faster. No, maybe another no. I mean, the way they pay attention to details is kind of annoying. I know a couple, and I don't really like them that much. I don't want to work with them. I'll be friends with them. I don't want to work with them because they're annoying. So Pisces, moon / rising. That's what he was. So he was the dreamer, the mystic, dissolving boundaries between self and collective. Pisces are known for dreaming and, being mystic and things of that nature. But he was the element of Virgo and Pisces. So that form and axis serve as a transcendence. One ground, the other dissolves. The polarity was the signature of the age of Pisces. Virgo, the earthly vessel. Pisces, the spiritual ocean, the collective dream and allure of the divine, which he had two doses of. So he's been idolized and looked upon as a divinity. And then we have Gemini and Sagittarius. Excuse me. the messengers weaving stories and philosophies that carry the age mythos. So Michael Jackson, as the archetype of the age, he became literally, because of this cosmic influence, he became the embodied both allure, Pisces, and the tensions of Virgo. His artistry was ritual precision because of his pay attention to detail as a Virgo. His dreaming like quality as a Pisces made it nice to watch. His artistry was ritual precision. Virgo wrapped in otherworldly enchantment with the Pisces influence. Fans idolized him as if he were a mythic figure because he reflected the cosmic codes of that age. The same thing with Jesus and all the other deities people are freaking praising. Michael Jackson was lucky to be the top 2 tiers of the last age, which is why he was praised to the point where they drained the life out of him. Okay, this is why. He didn't know this was happening to him. He didn't know this cosmic influence that he had was not because he's talented, because there was other people who was more talented than he is. It's because of this cosmic age and influence that gave him that. But this transition that we're on right now to the new age. Now, as we move into the new age of Aquarius, the axis shift. Aquarius is it's Aquarius Leo with Taurus Scorpio completing the fixed cross. So we have Leo, fire south. Scorpio represents water west. Taurus represents earth north. And Aquarius represents air east. Now, where Michael embodied the service and transcendence figures of this age will embody liberation, sovereignty, embodiment, and transformation. You see, if your sign is my sign is Aquarius sun and a Leo moon. Okay, so if you're Aquarius sun or you're Aquarius and a Leo, and that means you are already online with the new frequency. Your mythic transmissions resonate with the age defining sign, just as Michael's did with his. Okay, so let's map this out here. Okay, so the archetype was shifting from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. So, and how Michael Jackson, Virgo, Pisces embody contrast this new age. Okay, that means, the age of Pisces, let's just compare the age of Pisces, defining signs of Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, blah, blah, blah. It was a collective dream of mythicism, sacrifice, dissolution of boundaries. Okay, we already know the details of all of that, what the last age pretty much embodied. So let's look at the Gemini here, the messenger, duality, okay, storytelling and dispersal of ideas, kind of like what Kanye West was literally doing most of his life. Geminis are like that. Okay, Virgos have to be perfected, even to the point of fictitious lives. They're living whole life because their life has to be perfect. And we already know who are like that already. Most of them are fake anyway. But long as it's perfect in the media eye, that's what makes them happy. Okay. And then you have the Pisces, who is a dreamer. I mean, just look at freaking Rihanna. Most of her videos were in some kind of crazy dream or some collective dimension or something. She was always going beyond the spectrum of her videos. They were all over the goddamn place because that's where her mind was. She carried the artistic creativity and the dream. Okay, yes, Rihanna was a Pisces, but she is a Pisces. I don't see why it's like she did. You know, she's a Pisces, so she carried that top potence of that age. She didn't have to put a lot of work in. She just had to be her true goddamn self, and the cosmic influence pretty much did the rest. That's literally what it was. And then we have Donald Trump, who is also the Gemini, and the message don't always have to be truthful. He had that cosmic influence as well because he was both a Gemini and a Sagittarius, Donald Trump. So he was being worshipped as well. Maybe not as strong as Michael Jackson and Beyonce and all them freaking people, but he was definitely worshipped as well because Trump carried Gemini and Sagittarius. And we heard about his past life. The man got so lucky. He got away with so much shit. But now we are in a new age where that veil is lifting and it's a time of judgment. He can't get away with a lot of crap that he did back in those days. Okay. Okay, that was in the age of Pisces. Now, for my new age people here, let's move on here. Okay, but here's a recap. Remember Virgo, he was a Virgo, Pisces, and he was also rising in Pisces. This is why his fame was, it was literally defecation through allure and tension. The mutable signs thrive on movement, change, and duality. This is why he was so famous. Even though he is a legend, but he literally was doing the same old-fashioned dances over and over again. And Chris Brown can outdance this man. Sierra can outdance him. There are several people who can outdance him and outsing him too. Let's be realistic here. But he carried that cosmic influence, and his struggle made him very likable. And trust me, he loved that intention. You can see in his live performances, he loved that shit. He loved it. He loved it and he hated it. He had a love and hate relationship with his fame. Okay? May he rest in peace. Okay. Now, wrapping up here. This is a long show. Wow, I had a lot to say. Okay, the age of Aquarius. Okay, defining ages of Aquarius is the fixed cross, the fixed signs, north, south, east, and west. Okay, so we have Aquarius, who's the liberation, truth speaking, innovation, collective remembrance. We have a lot of truth speaker here. We have a lot of liberation. We have a lot of justice. We have a lot of veil listing. We have a lot of empires being torn apart. We have a lot of people being exploited. This is the new age of Aquarius. And do we have the Leo, the sovereignty, which is the Meghan Markles, which is the Angela Bassett's, which is freaking Obama, and all them other people who are coming back into the limelight. Sovereignty, creative radiance, heart-centered leadership. Those people create all this sovereignty. Who does sound like? Obama, Meghan Markle, all of them. Creative radiance, that's Meghan Markle all the way. And Obama. Heart-centered, all of them. Leadership. Need I say anything more? Yes. We have Aquarius, truth speaking, innovation, collective remembrance. All Aquariuses I know are humanitarians. I'm a humanitarian. Kerry Washington is a humanitarian. Oprah is a humanitarian. I go on and on. I think you all get the picture. And then we have Taurus, the embodiment of wealth, grounding, and sacred material restoration. Okay, sorry about that. I'm getting tired. So we have that as well. Okay. Tauruses, I don't know a lot of Tauruses. I know Izzy or whatever that rapper name is, that lady, that big lady, she used to be big. I'm not sure how she look now. I know she's a Taurus. That I know. I don't know a lot of Taurus other than my daughter. But I'm talking about famous people. I know Malcolm X is a Taurus, and he definitely embodied this as well. You know what I'm saying? Scorpios. Okay, Scorpios is a bit different because there aren't many. I know it's a Scorpio is their first sign. I do know a lot of Scorpios who have Scorpio. I mean, we know Will Smith is a Scorpio. Well, he's a Libra / Scorpio. Beyonce's have Scorpio. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Diddy, he's just have Scorpio, but we're not talking about him right now. So Scorpios, they shadow alchemy, transformation, and sexual healing, and death / rebirth, because they're able to regenerate and die and come back to life in a more emotional kind of, fix. Like how many times Will Smith had transformed himself, from what he used to be to what he is now. How many times he had to dust himself off and come back up again? You know what I'm saying? Him being Libra / Scorpio is a great combination, which means he loves justice, but he know how to transform himself if you ever get down in the pits, which is a great combination. It also means he's very focused, very focused on his job. I mean, very focused. All the Scorpios I know are very freaking focused. Seriously, it's kind of sick, but it's a good thing. You know what I mean? But just saying, he's a Libra and Scorpio. That's a great combination, But and then we have getting to the signs here. We also have the fact that consider we are changing into this new age. And we are we are in the age of Aquarius already. That means the cosmic influence that Michael Jackson had, he was a Pisces and Virgo, But if you are Aquarius and Leo, there is a possible chance that you're gonna have the same cosmic influence like him. Like if you choose to go out, if you don't have people stealing your essence, remember you do have people who are going to try to steal your essence if they know you are above the top tier, which is Aquarius and Leo of this new age. They're gonna try to steal your essence, do witchcraft, trying to steal your destiny, try to brainwash you, throw railroads in your, freaking paths and spikes in the road and shit, steal your money, embezzle your money. But just to let you know, this new age is going to exploit them and you're going to get back everything you were freaking stolen from times 10. So don't worry about that, but you're going to have to make the first step in making that happen. Don't sit back, consistently talk about it like I have been. I gave up hope. Try to come up with a plan to try to get justice, okay? Because once you get out there and get your name out there, the cosmic influence of this new age, if you are amongst these signs, will give you an extra boost and make your message heard a lot more with very little effort. The same cosmic influence with the last age, people who were worshipped like gods. So if you are of Aquarius and Leo, you more than likely will be worshipped like a god in identity if you are definitely trying to go out there and get influence. And that is a fact. Let's look at Meghan Markle. She's on her way to be a billionaire and she's slowly starting to be worshipped like a goddess. Okay, let's be realistic here. Even Jennifer Lopez is getting her star quality back, which is baffling. I'm very happy for her, but that's just fucking true. Okay. And don't get me started about Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner is a Scorpio, and she's definitely is getting, her and Kylie Jenner are both Scorpios, and they are definitely getting to their freaking prime. The woman turned 70, had her goddamn party at freaking Bezos' house. If that's not some high freaking cosmic influence, I don't know what. Oh yeah, you said you are. You said you're a Libra, my daughter's Aquarius, and Gemini, my sunshine, he's a Virgo. Oh, okay, okay. And I bet they are feeling it. So trust me, Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner are going to be in the limelight. They're already receiving the cosmic help from this age already. The woman had a goddamn party at Jeff Bezos' house with plenty of billionaires coming to her goddamn party. She was just ridiculed a few years ago, okay? This is what this cosmic influence is doing. I'm not even tell you the struggles I'm dealing with right now. Oh gosh, the haters, you're gonna get haters, and you're gonna get admirers. And it's a struggle because I am Aquarius and Leo. It's like I like it, but I don't like it. And I'm a Gemini rising. So it's like I can do without it, but still, I have to go somewhere and just hide. I'm telling you, it's going to be like that. You guys think I'm kidding? For real. Be prepared if you are amongst the top tier of this sign and you are potent, just like freaking Michael Jackson. He was a Pisces. I said it throughout this entire goddamn video. And I'm going to end it because I'm getting freaking tired. Okay? He was a Pisces and a Virgo. Oh, he's a Virgo and a Pisces. I'm sorry. He was a Virgo and a Pisces. And then he was a fucking Pisces rising. He had the double potency of the age of Pisces, the last age. And you know what they did to him. Now, if you are now in the age of Aquarius, and y'all know it's definitely happening, technology is going to be booming because technology is going to be so goddamn fast and so enhanced and so freaking skyrocketing, you're not going to be able to keep up. You were like, well, damn, when did we get this? They're going to come out with new crap. It's going to be seriously like a rocket. New stuff. AI is going to go in a whole new generation. It's going to be so freaking advanced, seriously. This is what is going to happen. And it's going to happen fast. Very, 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 very fast. Just like those new age movies, that's going to be in reality in a matter of 5 years. If you are amongst these two signs, you are going to be cosmic influence, either negatively or positive. It depends what you put out in the atmosphere. If you put positivity in that atmosphere, you're going to get a lot of positive feedback. If you put negative energy in the atmosphere in the age of Aquarius and enlightenment and truth speaking, you are going to get ridiculed and lynched. If you're being true, authentic, but you have to be in his age, you will be praised and worshiped like gods and goddesses. And that is a fact. Just saying. Just saying, if you are part of these signs right here, all I can say is please stay meditated, please stay grounded, please stay authentic, please stay authentic. And in this new age, you can do very little effort and still be praised. But as long as you are authentic and loving yourself, it will be embraced. Just like that girl was on TikTok and she was talking to her boyfriend who lied about his entire existence, saying he had money. She went on a series and talked about entire life. She's in Aquarius, by the way. And look how she went viral. Just talk about her life. How many goddamn people went on TikTok talking about their lives and this never happened to him or them or whoever? Her being in Aquarius, the story literally got pushed out there. Now, if she was like me and her story is being pushed out there, she don't have people trying to manipulate her like the big billionaires trying to keep her message from refilling, even though I'm still, breaking numbers, but whatever. Just saying. That's what happens when you're in this new age. So all I gotta say is embrace it, stay grounded, stay protected. And if religion is not helping, you might want to start meditating and carrying crystals and asking for protection from this cosmic influence, because you're gonna get both negative and positive. Even though you're putting out positivity, you still can get negative reactions from people who are soul-sucking, essence-stealing fools. Stay protected and stay loved. I am exhausted. I'll speak to you guys in a couple weeks. I had to get this off my chest, and I'll still be posting. Maybe, I don't know. I'll let you guys know. I'm exhausted. Bye. Hold on. If you guys have questions, please let me know now because I'm about to sign off. My Aquarians stay defending smaller kids, and she is quick to point out injustice. Oh yeah, I always do that. But in my job, if I talk too much, I am seriously getting lynched. You know what I'm saying? But yes, Aquarians are definitely humanitarians, and they definitely love kids. Absolutely. And tell her to continue doing that, but ask for protection. Let me put your comment up there. Tell her to ask for protection, either from her divinities, her gods and goddesses. Tell her to stay protected because she's an Aquarius. That cosmic influence and attention is going to be times 10. So she's going to get more feedback than she's breaking with. So tell her to stay protected. Okay. That's all I can pretty much say. Okay. And you guys, I got a feeling you guys know I'm right about this age. Y'all just don't understand it. But y'all know I'm right about this fucking age. Go ahead and look up the old age signs and see how that cosmic influence helped them. Remember I told you about freaking Ariana? She didn't even go to school for her fancy, and the girl's a goddamn billionaire. I mean, come on now. There's plenty of people who actually went to school for their cosmic and their cosmetics, and they're not even rich like her. Because she's a Pisces, she got an extra boost from that age. And that's a fact. Just being real. Although her product is good, but she didn't know anything about makeup. She's just the face of it. Okay, so anyway, that is pretty much it. You guys have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. And I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving because it's a butchering holiday. And it's pretty much a praise of how they lynch our ancestors. Yeah, cutting into turkeys. And I made a video about this. Was them celebrating how they slaughtered the Moors, not the Indians, the Moors, okay? Yes, the Moors. And they called them turkeys. So they celebrated every year slicing a turkey on their victory of slaughtering a bunch of people, hence Thanksgiving. So I don't celebrate that holiday, but I understand if you want to do it with family and friends, by all means, take it and turn it into something positivity of gathering and remembrance. That's what you should celebrate, not the way America wants you to. Other than that, have a beautiful holiday. Bye. Greetings, my truth seekers. This is Keisha. You all are familiar with my track record of accurate tarot readings. I have a 90% accuracy. Oh, yes. I also want to remind you that my reading starts at $5. Yes, $5. And that's for one question. $10 for two questions. Next, in general and in-depth readings, including past, present, and future, including communicating with loved ones and discovering the source of an issue. Cost $20 and higher. You can also schedule a reading with me through options below. You can also send me a direct message at Queen of Sheba Readings on IG, or also known as Instagram. See you there, love. Bye.